Good morning friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Medical Classes by Dr. Srinidhi Kumar Acharya. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also please give your valuable comments. You can also visit the playlist. In the playlist I have provided almost all the topics in a very systematic order, and this is quite convenient for the study, and I hope you will make use of it. My dear friends, as already we are discussing about newborn care, we already completed 7 parts, and today we will discuss the 8th part of newborn care according to Ayurveda. See, one more very special Navajata Shishu procedure which is mentioned by Ayurveda as far as newborn care is concerned. So that is Pichu dharana. Pichu dharana. Now, what is the meaning of Pichu dharana? It's very simple. It's keeping a cotton piece, which is also called as kavalika, which is soaked in oil over the head portion of the baby, and this procedure is called as Pichu dharana. So here a kavalika or a gauze piece which is dipped in the oil, which is basically an insulator, will be kept over the scalp or the head portion of the baby, and that is called as Pichu dharana. Now, to some extent, the area where you have to keep the Pichu is also very specific. It should be kept over the unossified area of the skull, situated at the suture point of coronal and sagittal suture, which is very commonly called as anterior fontanel. This area is considered as one of the weak area in the skull, and it is also called as anterior fontanel. The classics explains the same area as Brahma Randhra Pradesha. So therefore, the area where we have to keep the Pichu is nothing but Brahma Randhra Pradesha, which covers almost half portion of the skull and also the portion of the scalp. Now this ensures the protection of the weak area of the skull, that is anterior fontanel. One thing, and very important thing, is we know that the maximum surface area in the newborn baby will be made in the scalp area and as well as the skull area, and that is one area where the heat loss will be maximum, because that area has more surface area, body surface area. So baby cannot contract that area. So if that area is kept open, definitely there will be a lot of temperature loss. Therefore always we say that temperature loss will be maximum from the skull and as well as scalp area. So the idea is very clear. You have to prevent this particular heat loss from the scalp and skull area. Therefore, as a measure of maintaining the temperature, you keep this Pichu, which is soaked in the oil, which is also acting as an insulator over the scalp and head area, which is also called as Pichu dharana. So this also point out one more thing, that the Ayurveda has got a very clear-cut knowledge of maintenance of the temperature. So they know that TABC of resuscitation, what we are telling nowadays, which is adopted a few decades back, but Ayurveda has taken sufficient care to maintain the temperature of the baby immediately after the birth. It may be in the Sutika Gara, it may be immediately after the birth, or it may be even in the newborn care. Talking about the next procedure in the Navajata Shishu Paricharya newborn care is Ulbha Parimarjana. Ulbha Parimarjana. The classics say that Jatamatram Vishodhya Bala Ulbha Bala Saindava Sarpishaha Prasuti Kleshtam Chanu Balathailena Sechayit Tato Balathailena Abhyanjam Ataha Jatasya Ulbopaniya Mukancha Saindava Sarpisha. So these are the different references which is available from Sushruta Samhita and as well as Ashtanga Sangraha. Now what is this procedure is Ulbha Parimarjana? Ulbha refers to Jarayu. Jarayu means coverings, amniotic fluid, amniotic covering, chorionic covering, etc. Coverings are there, Jarayu. So layers, So now inside this covering only the amniotic fluid is present. Amniotic fluid is present. So Ulbha refers to Jarayu or the amniotic fluid or the fetal membranes like amniotic membrane, and hence at some places it has been also taken as amniotic fluid. It's quite logical, because Ulbha basically the meaning of Ulbha is Jarayu, which is a meaning which implies the meaning of fetal membranes. We know that fetal membrane is amniotic membrane and chorionic membrane, etc. Now in between these membrane we will have the amniotic fluid. So therefore definitely Ulbha also refers to amniotic fluid. Cleaning of the Ulbha means cleaning from the staining of the amniotic fluid. There is also expression of a disease which is called as Ulbhaka, which is explained by Ashtanga Sangraha. Ulbhaka. So in Ulbhaka he says that if there is avamana of Garbhodaka, then there will be a disease called as Ulbhaka. That is, if the amniotic fluid which is aspirated inside the stomach by the baby during the fetal stage, 1 point, or amniotic fluid which is stained by the meconium, unfortunately which is stained by the meconium and get aspirated by the baby, then it leads to a disease immediately after birth that is called as Ulbhaka. Okay, so in first condition it is Ulba Parimarjana. There also the word Ulba refers to amniotic fluid. Okay, indirectly. Similarly, in Ulbhaka Roga also it is something related to amniotic fluid only. Either it may be clean amniotic fluid, unstained, or it may be stained with the meconium. Okay, so therefore one of the cause of this Ulbhaka Roga he mentioned that avamana of the Garbhodaka. Garbhodaka is nothing but amniotic fluid. So two conditions are there. Ulba can be considered as Werner's caseosa as far as the first reference is concerned, or this is one reference. Now another reference is Ulba can be also considered as Werner's caseosa. Okay, Werner's caseosa is the outer covering sticky material which is covering the skin of the baby. This also plays a very important role in the maintenance of the temperature. Okay, so now this is very thick sebaceous mucoid secretion, hence they use the Saindava and Grita for clearing it. Saindava acting as a Vishandhana, or it is a liquefying agent, and Grita is basically a high calorie diet and as well as it is moisturizing. So it helps to remove by lubricating the tract and liquefying the secretion. Saindava and Sarpi are used to clear the Ulba. In the shloka you can see Saindava Sarpishaha Jatamatasa Ulba Paniyam Mukancha Saindava Sharpishaha. So amniotic fluid is one reference. According to one reference, amniotic fluid can be very clearly taken as Ulba. If you want to take another reference, that is Ulba can be also taken as Werner's caseosa. Okay. Now it may be Werner's caseosa or it may be amniotic fluid, whatever. Now if you want to clear the oral cavity and nasal cavity from these secretions, okay, now we have to go for one method. What is that? We have to use the combination of Saindava and Sarpisha. Saindava and Sarpi should be taken and then it should be applied over the oral area, okay, so that the tract will be removed from the sticky secretions, sticky mucoid secretions, as Saindava is a liquefying agent and Vishandhanakara, and as well as Grita will provide a moisturizing or lubricating effect. Especially when you talk about the removal of the Ulba on the skin, the skin of the baby is very delicate. You cannot rub it very vigorously. Okay, or there is every chance that when you are rubbing it can damage the delicate skin. Therefore the lubricating effect of the ghee is also very important. Suppose if you are removing the Ulba from the body surface area, not from the oral cavity. In the oral cavity you would go for Saindava and Grita both. So this is two important measures which are explained in Navajata Shishupariya according to Ayurveda. Next class we will continue with one more important method. Thank you very much.